Dear learners, now we are starting the lecture 3 of week 4, module 4 of our marketing course entitled The Art and Science of Marketing from Basics to Breakthrough. The module 4, week 4 is devoted for STP strategy, that is segmentation, targeting and positioning. In the first two lectures, we covered the segmentation details, and in the next lecture, that is the first lecture related with basics of segmentation. Next lecture, the lecture 2 devoted to the basis of segmentation. Let's move to the third lecture with the targeting strategies in terms of different targeting strategies related or categorized as undifferentiated, differentiated, niche and micro. So, I, Dr. Asutosh Mohan, Associate Professor at Institute of Management Studies, Banaras Hindu University, would love to welcome you for Lecture 3, Module 4. What is going to be our session objective? Our session objective is basically related with defining and distinguishing among different targeting strategies, as we mentioned in our title. Then we try to evaluate the strength and the risk of each strategies, and finally we try to identify the real world application of each strategy. Let's start with a very small story of a juice bar. What exactly this juice bar story relates with? In fact, two friends started the juice business in a small town. One offers the same kind of product to all, say a kind of carbonated juices, real juices and some kind of shakes. But another juice bar owner customized the offering. He offered gym going clients, certain juices with rich protein, high protein, certain fruit drinks specifically curated for kids choice set. Then there are certain low sugar drinks which serve the purpose of adults having diabetes as a problem. That's what becoming a major problem, the national problem in India. So we are becoming the capital of diabetes. So this particular juice bar owner customized the offering, offered the different product to different segments. Don't you think that is basically an exercise to target? Don't you think that is basically an exercise to identify the distinctive requirement of distinctive segment and customizing or offering as per the requirement? So second one is a great success. The first one is running but not having this kind of success. It's possible. So what is market targeting? Targeting is basically a process of identifying and selecting a specific group of people to receive a marketing message. So in segmentation, we identify different groups exist in the population. Now suppose we identify n number of groups exist in a population of a country or a state or a city, but every organization is having the limitations on resources. Now based on the availability of resources, the organization recognizes we cannot serve the n groups in a population altogether, otherwise it will be mass customized or mass market product. They identified we have the resources capability to serve beautifully only 2, 3 or 5 groups identified in the population. That is what targeting is. Now why they identified those 2, 3, 5 maybe one group altogether? Why they are doing the same? Because they are simply try to focus, concentrate their energy, their resources, their effort on that group requirement, even with the customization of messages, the customization of offers, and making it more value additive for that particular segment. This is what targeting is. Now, why we go for targeting, even though we try to understand with the explanation of targeting, but if we try to find out, even the importance of targeting reflects in 4 dimensions. The first one is the efficiency and resource allocation. Efficiency and resource allocation, as I mentioned, if you channelized your energy to target certain market, you are going to be efficient in your approach. Efficiency means output to input ratio. The lesser the input, higher the output, you are more efficient. It improves the messaging and the customer understanding. That's a natural phenomena, because you are understanding the market, you are understanding the segment characteristic, and accordingly you can design and develop your message. It increases the engagement of customer, obviously, because if you are customizing your offers, customizing or offering as per the requirement of the segment, definitely the segment, the individual in the segment will pay more attention, they are more engaged with your offers. And finally, it may create a potential to understand the market expansion and growth, which is natural for every organization to wish for. So, what may be the types of targeting? There are basically 4 types of targeting: differentiated marketing, undifferentiated marketing, niche marketing, and micro marketing. Let us try to understand the difference between the differentiated and undifferentiated marketing. What actually this is? By and large, differentiating marketing represent the segment marketing, undifferentiated marketing represent the mass marketing. This is a very comprehensive tabular comparison of differentiated and undifferentiated marketing. Let us take the different parameters and try to understand the nitty-gritty of the same. Definition, I am not going, you can simply refer, it's mentioned the customized messaging in differentiated, single messaging in undifferentiated, target on audience in differentiated is multiple, whereas in undifferentiated the entire whole market is your target audience. In case of marketing strategy, we try to differ the product marketing mix which is tailored around the customer requirement, whereas in undifferentiated, one single marketing strategy for all. In case of product variation, lots of product variations are possible, whereas in case of undifferentiated, the standard products are offered. Communication, segment specific, whereas in undifferentiated, widespread and generic. In case of cost, higher because customization possibilities are emerging. In case of undifferentiated, lower due to economy of scale. In case of customer focus, it is high because it caters to certain demand, whereas in undifferentiated it is minimal because it applies to all users in a same manner. Brand positioning is stronger in differentiated, weaker in undifferentiated because you are treating the entire market in a generic way. And lastly, the effectiveness, more efficient, more effective at marketplace in comparison to competition in differentiated, whereas it is more generic, less effective because they a kind of commodity marketing, a kind of mass marketing you are opting, and accordingly the chances of having the brand loyalty will little bit at stake. Now, try to understand the difference between the micro and concentrated marketing. In case of micro marketing, the definition focus on a specific client, concentrated on a certain market, niche or sector. What is micro? Micro, if you recall, in the segmentation or level of segmentation, we talked about the individual marketing, that is what micro marketing. We talked about niche marketing, a very small segment to serve, that is what concentrated marketing is. So, micro is individual, concentrated is niche. So, scope very localized or customized, maybe one single individual. Concentrated little bit more generic, but still it's less than the differentiated or undifferentiated. Target audience size incredibly little, even one single person can serve as one market. Specialized or a small market sector, that is what concentrated talks about. Customization are possible in both, but in case of micro it's the maximum level or ultimate level of customization, maybe a kind of hyper personalization. Examples may be local tailoring shop, the personalized ads, even Airbnb host which are offering the different experience at different places. Concentrated may be all luxury items, Rolex, GoPro, Lululemon, something like this, very luxurious kind of brands. Cost very expensive in case of micro, expensive but less in comparison to micro. Scalability very difficult to scale. Scaling is simple because something is standard in terms of offerings. Technology highly dependent, whereas in concentrated may be less reliant, but still nowadays no one can say technology is not going to serve any purpose, because no more it is an enabler, it becoming a backbone for every operation of the organization. So, when to use which strategy, that is very crucial element. When to use differentiate marketing, when to use undifferential marketing, when to go for micro, when to go for concentrated kind of efforts. There are different requirements, and accordingly marketer has to decide what to go for, what not to go for. In case of undifferentiated, we will find it is good for commodities, it is good for those market where the competition level is low. So, if competition level is low and you are having a commodity without any specific kind of brand identity, you are not wishing for a kind of loyalty, you may go for undifferentiated marketing, because volume is going to serve the purpose of profitability. Now, in case of differentiated marketing, when diverse customer needs are existing, and those diverse customer needs are indicating the opportunity to cater in a specific manner to earn more and more profits. That is what differentiated marketing talks about. Now, in case of concentrated marketing, we need to understand the specialized kind of market, the startup strategies, where we are talking about the niche possibilities, where we are serving a very small segment with a very specifically targeted requirements, and we try to leverage that benefit. That is possible and that is happening in case of concentrated marketing. What about the micro? Micro is totally focused approach to serve without bothering price. It means if you are serving even a single individual as a market, you need not to bother about the price front, because price become irrelevant. Providing a solution to a problem of an individual is a basic responsibility at any cost, and the person is ready to pay for. That is what micro marketing talks about. Now, what are the different market targeting strategies? There are basically 5 market targeting strategies. The first one, single segment concentration. What exactly this is? Single segment concentration. You identified one single segment and you are continuously offering the solution to that segment. We have lots of brands where they are simply identifying one segment and working beautifully to that segment. Take the example of Johnson & Johnson. They are serving the requirement of baby products. They selected the baby as one single segment, the infants as one single segment, and they are providing product related with that particular segment. This is what single segment concentration is. Next is selective specialization. Now you have specialization for different segments, and accordingly you have different offerings as per the requirement of different segment. That is possible. Take the example of different television channels, or take the example of different broadcasters or different media houses, how they are serving the requirement of different segments. Same media house may have different kind of news channels. One news channel, take the example of Living Media India Limited, that is showing the different media vehicles present at Indian market. So we have Aaj Tak channel to cover the different kind of news items, breaking the different news items on a regular basis. We have another news channel which is talking about the goodness of the news, which is talking about the good things related with the news. So that is what Good News Today, that is another channel they are offering. They have the different channel that is targeting towards the business customers, and accordingly they are serving the purpose. Take another example, Adhikari Brothers. Adhikari Brothers are having the different channel. For music lovers they have the Masti channel. For humorous kind of thing they have the Sub TV, which is now acquired by the Sony. But don't you think they develop, they specialize to serve the different market segment requirement, and they keep on serving it beautifully? This is what selective specialization talks about. So Good News Channel, the Aaj Tak, the Business News Channel, the Business Aaj Tak or Business Today, something like this they are having in their kitty. What about the product specialization? When any organization develop a kind of product and which is serving the need of the market across the segment, that become a product specialization. Is it so? Think about your smartphone. Think about Samsung, think about Apple, think about any technology enabled product. They have certain kind of technology inbuilt in the product, and that technology is giving access to work across the different segment and serve the purpose. So if you are talking about the Apple, whether if you are thinking in terms of demography, possibly high income group, possibly the elite class, even for Samsung Galaxy items, but it is serving across the segment from different age groups. So it's good for young professional, it's good for middle aged professional, and it may be good for senior professional altogether. So different segment, but product is one specialized and serving it beautifully. Take the example of Barbie dolls. How many of you have fond of playing Barbie dolls? Or just recall your childhood, how many of you actually played with Barbie dolls? Remember, it's not, even though it's somehow related with one kind of gender, generally the girls, but many boys also having experience of playing with Barbie doll. So just think about the Barbie doll and just think about the uniqueness of that Barbie doll. Prior to this invention of a mother of 3 daughters, which is actually part of Metal Incorporation, the Mrs. Ruth, actually identified her 3 daughters were playing with dolls or were fond of playing with dolls, and she identified that all dolls at that point of time were having the baby faces. So she thought the time the daughters were devoting to play with dolls, not adding any value to those to daughters of that lady. So what she did? She actually designed a doll with a very mature and beautiful face and created a kind of aspiration around that doll with possibilities of changing the dresses, the attire, the settings, and prepare your doll as per your wish. So with baby face doll, it converted into a mature doll face with a beauty inbuilt, so that if girls are playing with the doll, they built an aspirational value to look like a Barbie. And that was a huge success 2 years back or 3 years back, when Barbie, a movie, also broke several records. Is not a good thing to understand? Don't you think it's a unique kind of product created, where a doll created an aspirational value, something unique, something very specialized, and that's serving the world altogether from many years giving an edge to the corporation which is owing this kind of dolls. It's happening and it's possible. Now come to the next strategy, that is market specialization. Now what is market specialization? Market specialization talks about if you develop an understanding for a market, if you develop an understanding for the market, then serve the market in totality. Serve the market in totality in that respect where you are serving each and every requirement of the market. Think about any of those particular big retailers, the hypermarketers, marketers. Think about these e-commerce giants, whether it's Amazon, whether it's a Flipkart. They are serving the requirement of e-consumer or e-commerce lovers. They are offering each and every kind of product on their platform, so they understand the requirement of e-commerce lovers and providing the solution. This is what market specialization we are talking about. Last one is full market coverage, where you are not devoting your time and energy in segregation. You simply consider the entire market as one market, and that's a mass market approach, where you are selling the product with the similar kind of need satisfaction, similar kind of campaigns and messages, maybe a little localized as per the requirement, but serving the same kind of aspiration, the same kind of psychological requirement, and accordingly capable to sell the product in totality. So what we witness, there are 5 marketing strategy. One relates with single segment, other relates with selective specialization, then we have product specialization, then we have market specialization, and finally we have the full market coverage. Let's take the example of Tata, how Tata is serving with different wings of its as per the different targeting strategies. In case of undifferential marketing or undifferentiated marketing, Tata Salt, even though nowadays Tata Salt is having lots of variants, maybe low sodium, rich in iron, all those variants are possible, but still Desh ka namak, Tata namak. That is what Tata Salt is selling with. So undifferentiated marketing. Then they have a kind of differentiated marketing with Tata Motors, where Nano is somehow outdated, but Tiago, Harrier, whatever the other options in terms of different e-vehicles of Tata, they are creating, they are serving the different set of market with different set of product, with different set of facilities, benefits and characteristics. So we may have Punch, we may have Nexa, we may have Tiago, we may have Safari. All these segments are serving the different requirements of different segment. All these products are, rather to say, serving the requirements of different segment. Then we have concentrated marketing in terms of Jaguar Land Rover, which is a kind of niche and serving the requirement of those class individuals who don't like to be mingled with their choice set with masses. And finally, if you talk about the individual, TCS is best example. TCS, Tata Consultancy Service, is providing solution, the customized solution as per the requirement of the market, as per the requirement of one single client. That client might be a big client like government of different nations. That client might be a medium or a small client in terms of different size organization operating throughout the world. And that is what TCS is having an edge. TCS is having a market leadership position where they are treating each and every client as single market, a single segment, and providing or offering solution to their problem, customizing the entire IT domain. That's possible, and Tata is one of the beautiful example which actually catering all four strategy of targeting. Now what's the summary? If we try to summarize, what's the summary? All strategies have merits based on product and market. We can't say every organization need to go blindly for this or blindly for differential, undifferential, niche or micro or something like this. Every strategy is having its pro and its cons. Decide as a marketer which is going to serve you in a best possible manner. It's your decision. It's your take. Understanding your idea audience guides targeting. That's the base. That's the basic requirement of targeting. Segmentation. That's why we started with segmentation, then moved to targeting. So if you are not able to identify the segment and its characteristic, you cannot focus your efforts as per the segment requirement. And the last one, best strategies evolve with the brand. That is what you need to think about, creating an identity with your effort. And that is what we need to understand in our next modules related with positioning, where we are supposed to create identity in a segment with our focused approach. So finally, the reflection as per the tradition of my course, just think about, just give us few minutes, just try to close your eye and understand or recall why do some brands appeal to everyone while others stay exclusive. Why there are differential factors for certain brand and why there is no differential factor for certain brand. Just think about and try to answer, and you will find in your answer, the beauty of this STP strategy. If you have further interest, I recommend you to go for McKinsey's report Winning with Segment, that will give you an idea how beautifully the targeting efforts with segmentation or scientific segmentation exercise may lead towards an art of creating success story for any marketer. This is what we need to cover in the lecture 3 of module 4. Thanks a lot. Next lecture, the lecture 4 of module 4, will talk about the positioning strategies. Thank you again. Thank you so much.